Now let's start with the detailed line-to-line explanation of the poem Refugee Blues by W.H. Auden. Children, first of all, see the meanings of the words refugee and blues. Refugee is a person who goes to another country to escape being mistreated for religion or politics or to escape war. And blues is a slow, sad song. So basically, this poem is sung by a refugee who has gone to another country to escape the ill treatment being done to him. And now we are going to read about the difficulties that he faces while trying to seek shelter in that country. So this poem talks about the traumas. Traumas are the deeply disturbing experiences of the German Jewish refugee during the Second World War. Children, in this poem, total 11 stanzas are there, and each stanza has got 3 lines, right? Let's start. Say the city has 10 million souls. Please write the meanings of the difficult words side by side. Souls means people. Here it means people. Some are living in mansions, some are living in holes. Mansions means a large impressive house, a very big house, जिसको आप हवेली बोलते हो. Holes means slums, or you can say very small houses. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. Children, first of all, let us see the rhyme scheme of this poem. First line is ending on the word souls. Second line is ending on the word holes. So these both words, souls and holes, are rhyming. So we will name both these lines as A. But the third line is ending on the word us, which is not rhyming with the first 2 lines. So this line, the third line, will be named as B. And the rhyme scheme of the poem is AAB, right? Now, children, second poetic device that has been used in this paragraph is repetition. See, in the third line, yet there is no place for us, my dear, yet there is no place for us, my dear. These words are repeated, right? So this is an example of a repetition. Now, the first line, say this city has million souls. Here, souls are being compared to the people, right? So, indirect comparison without using as or like. So, here the poetic device that has been used is metaphor, right? Now coming to the explanation. Children, the speaker is not alone. The German Jewish refugee is not alone. Might be there is a friend with him or his wife. Somebody is there with him. So he is saying these words to him. But that whosoever is his companion is very close to him, because he addresses him or her as my dear. वो उसके साथ जो भी कंपेनियन है उसको माई डियर करके एड्रेस कर रहा है. इट मीन्स दैट ही इज़ हैविंग वेरी क्लोज रिलेशनशिप विद दैट पर्सन. सो ही इज़ टेलिंग हिज कंपेनियन, से this city has 10 million souls. Some are living in mansions, some are living in holes. The speaker is telling his companion that this city, wherever we are standing, this city is very big. It is a big city, and more than 10 million people are living in this city. Some people are living in big mansions, big houses, whereas some people are living in small houses. Yet there is no place for us, my dear. Yet there is no place for us. So he, in a very sad tone, says that although the city is very big, although lot many people are living in this city, but this city has got no place for us. Means we are not able to get shelter in such a big city. Second stanza. Once we had a country and we thought it fair. Look in the atlas and you will find it there. We cannot go there now, my dear. We cannot go there now. Here in the first line, the word is fair. Fair means trustworthy, lawful, legal. So the speaker in the second stanza tells his companion again. He says that once we also lived in a country and we thought that it was a trustworthy place to live. कहता हम भी किसी टाइम पर एक ऐसे देश में रहते थे जिस पे कि हमें विश्वास था that we will be getting place in this country throughout our lives. Look in the atlas and you will find it there. He says, and it's not that I'm not telling a lie, it is fact, and you can find that place in the atlas. You may refer to the atlas, you will find that country in the atlas. We cannot go there now, my dear, we cannot go there now. Now, why is he saying that to look in the atlas? Because for him, that place no longer exists, as he cannot go there. He tells his companion that once we lived in a country which gave us shelter and we were living there a very peaceful life, but now we cannot go there because now people over there are after our lives they are mistreating us. We are being ill treated over there. So in order to save our lives, we have come here and we cannot go there. So for us that place no longer exists. क्योंकि अब हम उस देश में नहीं जा सकते अपने कंट्री में, जर्मनी में, क्योंकि वहाँ पर एडोल्फ हिटलर का रूल है एंड ही डज़ नॉट लाइक द जूस. तो इसलिए हमारे ऊपर बहुत इल ट्रीटमेंट हो रहा था, हमें बहुत ज़्यादा इल ट्रीट किया जाता था, हमारे ऊपर अत्याचार हो रहा था. सो वी कैनॉट गो देयर, वी वर परसिक्यूटेड ओवर देयर, सो वी कैनॉट गो देयर, but that place still exists in the atlas only for us, not in reality. Because had it been in reality there, then we would have gone there. क्योंकि अब हम वहाँ नहीं जा सकते, इसलिए हमारे लिए वो जगह सिर्फ एटलस में ही रह गई है, रियलिटी में नहीं है. Now coming to stanza 3. In the village churchyard there grows an old yew. Every spring it blossoms anew. Old passports cannot do that, my dear. Old passports cannot do that. In the third stanza, the meanings of difficult words. Churchyard means graveyard. Yew means a coniferous tree. Children, coniferous trees are those trees that produce cones and don't shed their leaves in winters. Children, आपने हिली एरियाज़ में देखे होंगे ऐसे ट्रीज़ कि उनके जो फ्रूट है वो एक कोन की तरह होता है and they do not shed their leaves in winters. The next difficult word in this stanza is blossoms. Blossoms means bloom. Now coming to the poetic devices. In the first line, in the village churchyard there grows an yew. Every spring it blooms anew. So here the poetic device that has been used is metaphor. And passports are compared to trees. How? Let us read and find out. The speaker says that he still remembers the graveyard in the village. And in that graveyard, there was an old tree, coniferous tree, which used to bloom every year in the spring season. But now we cannot see it bloom again. Then he compares that tree to his passports. He said that we are well aware that passports can be renewed. Like that tree blooms every year, so in the similar way, passports can also be renewed every year. But our old passports cannot be renewed. Like we cannot see that tree again, in the similar way, our passports can also not be renewed again. Stanza 4. The consul banged the table and said, "If you have got no passport, you are officially dead. But we are still alive, my dear, but we are still alive." Kindly write the meanings of the difficult words of fourth stanza. There is only one difficult word, that is consul. Consul refers to the government officials representing their country in foreign. Now, the speaker, he has already left his own country. अब उसकी कंट्री का जो रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, ये चिल्ड्रन ऑफिसर्स होते हैं, हर कंट्री में दूसरी कंट्री के ऑफिसर्स होते हैं जो कि अपनी कंट्री को रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, राइट। अब वो जिस कंट्री में खड़ा था स्पीकर, उस कंट्री में जर्मनी के वो ऑफिसर्स के पास जाते हैं, एंड व्हेन ही टोल्ड हिम that my passport, has expired. So the consul gets angry and he banged the table. He said, "If you have got no passport, you are officially dead." So he is in a very angry mood. Why he is angry? Because he is not able to help the people, the person of his own country. फ्रस्ट्रेशन बोल रही है उसकी कि वो अपने ही कंट्री के एक सिटीज़न की हेल्प नहीं कर पा रहा, क्योंकि उसको पता है कि इफ़ दिस मैन विल गो बैक इन जर्मनी, देन ही विल नॉट बी एक्सेप्टेड देयर पीपल, दे विल किल हिम. सो in anger he says that if you have got no passport, you are officially dead. He says that अगर तुम्हारे पास पासपोर्ट नहीं है ना, तो तुम ऑफिशियल रिकॉर्ड्स में you do not exist and you are officially dead. So listening to his words, the speaker gets very disheartened. बहुत he gets sad, उसका दिल टूट जाता है, and he says his companion, he said that but we are still alive, my dear, but we are still alive. कहते कि उसने काउंसिल ने बोल दिया कि you are officially dead, जबकि हम जीते जागते उसके सामने खड़े हुए हैं. So he says that, see, this is the difficulty, that although I am alive, even then nobody is ready to believe that I am alive. Only my documents speak. क्या सिर्फ डॉक्यूमेंट्स ही बोलते हैं? मैं खुद जो बोल रहा हूँ वो नहीं है, मैं खुद एग्जिस्ट कर रहा हूँ, उसके सामने खड़ा हूँ. Even then he is saying that if your passport is expired, means you are also no more. Said that then I went to committee. They offered me a chair, asked me politely to return next year. But where shall we go today, my dear? But where shall we go today? The speaker tells his companion, "Kita, I also went to the committee to register myself. And they greeted me well. They offered me a chair to sit." बहुत अच्छे से उन्होंने मुझे ट्रीट किया, मुझे उन्होंने चेयर दी बैठने के लिए. But then, you know what they did? And then they asked me politely to return next year. कहते चेयर पर बिठा के वहाँ पर कमेटी में मुझे लोग क्या कहते हैं? to come and return next year. कहते जाओ, अभी आप जाओ, 1 साल के बाद आना, तो इस कंट्री में तुम्हें शेल्टर मिलेगा. The speaker says, again he is so disheartened. फिर दिल टूट गया उसका उनकी बात सुन के. कहता बट वेयर शैल वी गो टुडे माय डियर, बट वेयर शैल वी गो. कहता इस स्टेज पर अब मैं कहाँ जाऊँ. पीपल लाइक मी, दे डोंट need false promises. We don't want decisions to be pending. हमें immediately decision चाहिए क्योंकि we do not have any place to stay. कहते बट वही वो उसको अपने कंपेनियन को बोल रहा है, कहता हम कहाँ जाएं. वो तो उन्होंने तो कमेटी ने तो बहुत आराम से बोल दिया that you come next year. But where shall we go now? At present हम कहाँ जाएं? But where shall we go now? Stanza 6. Came to a public meeting. The speaker got up and said, if we let them in, they will steal our bread. He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. So, the German Jewish refugee then came to a public meeting. There, the speaker was addressing a big audience, and he said, if we let them in, they will steal our daily bread. Children, this line is an example of hyperbole. Now, why? Because see, what is the speaker saying? He's saying that if we let them in. Now, here, them refers to the refugees. So, he's telling that if we will let the German refugees in our country, then they will steal our daily bread. Steal our daily bread. Bread means bread here does not only refer to food, but he wants to say that if we will let the German refugees in, then they will deprive us of our jobs, of food, of our rights of property and other rights. So he is just exaggerating the things. बात को बहुत बढ़ा चढ़ा कर बोल रहा है. So this line is an example of hyperbole. Then the refugee tells his companion that, do you know about whom that speaker was speaking? He was talking of you and me, my dear. He was talking of you and me. So he's again very disappointed to think that the people of the other country, they don't want the German Jewish people to come to their country. Now, moving ahead to the next stanza. Saw a poodle. Poodle, children, is a breed of dog in a jacket fastened with a pin. Saw a door opened and a cat let in. Kindly write down the meaning of fastened. Fastened is secured, or you can say done up, dressed up. Saw a door opened and a cat let in, but they weren't German Jews, my dear, but they weren't German Jews. So here the refugee tells his companion, he says that he had seen a dog who was dressed up very nicely, and he had also seen a cat, and they were free to go anywhere. Nobody was stopping them. So he's basically compare himself with the animals. He says that even animals are better than us because they are not stopped from going anywhere. But we, the German Jews, we are not, welcomed by anyone. We are stopped from going anywhere.